We are live.
Yay! I am still with the land of the living, battling COVID. But as I told Lizzie, I couldn't miss another live stream. Aw, look at that. Uh,
Yeah, that's
I,
my
I
profile picture right there. Oh well,
I know. I
without the
saw you
he doesn't
changed it.
he doesn't have his Chiefs hat on, but otherwise,
uh, I am old and dude, of course, and he is.
Leo the raccoon panda. Oh wait, no, Richard York, Asher's True Punch.
um, this is Aria 3. With all of these, we'll start with the brains of the operation, Richard. He will say what he saw with the chapter, and I will jump in with my stupid stuff every now and then. Um, I I apologize ahead of time for being a little bit low energy today, but we're going to battle through this short chapter. So take
All
it away,
right,
Richard.
thank you, sir. Lizzie says, "Yay! Hi guys, and Puppy is here too." Arya encounter in this chapter. Arya encounters a wolf pack. So the road was little more than two ruts through the weeds. The good part was, with so little traffic, there'd be no one to point the finger at and say which way they'd gone. The human flood that had flowed down the King's Road was only a trickle here. The bad part was, the road wound back and forth like a snake, tangling with even smaller trails and sometimes seeming to vanish entirely, only to reappear half a league farther on when they had all but given up hope. Arya hated it. Sadly, there's a lot more things to hate up ahead.
Yeah.
Lamy and the other orphans all treated the bull like someone special now because the queen wanted his head, though he would have none of it. So our characters are often wrong, so this does not disprove Casey's preferred interpretation of this deliberately ambiguous story. So I just thought I would
Yep. I
let you
appreciate
off the
you
hook
putting it in
there.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
unreliable narrator.
yep. I mean, the idea that they've reached that conclusion, we talked specifically about why you would reach that conclusion last time, and you argued that that's not necessarily a valid conclusion. So I thought it was worth mentioning.
I appreciate that.
I bet he's that traitor's bastard, Lamy said one night in a hushed voice so Gendry would not hear. The Wolf Lord, the one they nicked on Baelor's steps. He is not, Arya declared. My father only had one bastard, and that's John. Our characters are especially wrong when being wrong is hilariously ironic.
Her, her father had five bastards.
Yep. Uh, a chestnut mare with a white blaze on her forehead. And Arya had always been a good rider. So this is a fiery, blazing horse paired with our Lyanna Stark Echo. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It was safer to stay with Yoren and the others. So I found that kind of interesting. I think we see multiple hints at Nissa choosing to sacrifice her own life, and maybe this is saying that she was voluntarily with the others or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Also, we get a lot of Arya as the lone wolf later on in the story. But here's one of a couple of points where she chooses to stay with the pack.
yeah, yeah, she wants a pack. Um, you get out of our field now and take these sneaks and stabbers with you, or we'll stake you up in the corn to scare the other crows away. So this kind of reminds me of the brothers filled with straw when Mance attacks. They're talking about turning Night's Watchmen into scarecrows. So
Yeah.
Yoren cursed. Him and his tree. Let's see how well he likes it up there when the others come to take him. He'll scream for the watch then, that he will. So implying the others will get this far south of the wall is rather ominous, because that would mean that the Night's Watch had rather failed kind of completely.
Yeah. Um, I always figured it would be the Trident is as far as they would get because of the vision that Danny has of
Right. Her Darth Vader dream.
but it's still, I mean, it might make it all the way to King's Landing. You never know.
Either this road went and turned again, or that sun's setting in the north. Yoren climbed to rise to get a better look. Fire, he announced. So the sworn sword fire is similar, and I think Hardhome might have been described similarly as well, with the concept of the sun setting in the wrong location,
Yeah. Was it sunset or was it dawn?
or maybe it was sunrise. Yeah,
Yeah.
might have been
I,
sunrise. I don't
I
know.
can't
That's a
remember.
good point. Yeah, good point. As the world darkened, the fire seemed to grow brighter and brighter until it looked as though the whole north was ablaze. just an interesting combination of the world darkening and fire. Perhaps that's hinting at your theory that the dragons somehow contribute to causing the long night.
Yeah.
By dawn, the fire had burned itself out, but none of them slept very well that night. So dawn will come eventually, but the long night won't allow much rest.
Exactly.
A flock of ravens rose from inside the walls when they climbed through the broken gate, and the caged ravens in their wagons called out to them with quirks and raucous shrieks. It's always worth keeping an eye on the birds, especially talking ravens. So
Exactly.
Gendry's voice sounded hollow. When Arya turned to look, she saw that he was wearing his helm, all shiny steel and great curving horns. So the hollow voice could refer to the booming voice of the Knight of the Laughing Tree.
Yeah.
George, I think, tries to establish this concept that the voices sound different when you're wearing a helmet. And I think part of the point of that, he does this again with Brienne, right?
Yeah.
I think part of the point of that is to emphasize the idea that Lyanna Stark could be the Knight of the Laughing Tree. The girl was no older than 2, and she cried all the time, a whimpery sound, like something she was caught in her throat. Either she couldn't talk yet or she had forgotten how. Meet the crying girl, soon to be Weasel.
The first Weasel.
Yep. Come dark, there'll be wolves here, and worse. That's rather ominous. I'm not sure what's worse other than, I suppose, the two-legged kind. She remembered a story old Nan had told once about a man imprisoned in a dark castle by evil giants. He was very brave and smart, and he tricked the giants and escaped. But no sooner was he outside the castle than the others took him and drank his hot red blood. Now she knew how he must have felt. Anyone think we will ever see original Weasel again? Yeah, that's a good question. Wouldn't surprise me. I think part of the point is that she's some people think that she's sort of like what the Fight Club kind of thing with Arya, which I don't think is true, but I get the concept, right? That it's Arya seeing what she doesn't like about herself, what she doesn't like about being a little girl potentially. Yeah, I kind of like to think so. Maybe she could show up with the inn with all the orphans, right? That they're collecting little girls and little boys at the end. So
that's actually a really good place for her to turn up.
Yeah. This story of this brave and smart, he tricked the giants and escaped, but this was the outside the castle and the others took them. It's something to look for. I'm not sure if we've seen anything quite like that yet, and it feels like this is a hint of something that's coming.
Yeah.
She saw the eyes shining out from the wood, bright with reflected moonlight. Her belly clenched tight as she grabbed her needle, not caring if she pissed herself, counting eyes. 2, 4, 8, 12, a wolf pack. One of them came padding out from under the trees. He stared at her and bared his teeth, and all she could think was how stupid she'd been, and how Hot Pie would gloat when they found her half-eaten body the next morning. The wolf turned and raced back into the darkness, and quick as that, the eyes were gone. So Arya does not recognize this wolf, but our characters are often wrong, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, even if that wasn't Nim and it was just part of her pact, it was part of her pact, they sensed the Nim portion
that makes a
Arya.
lot of sense, right?
Yeah. And before I forget, we go any further, so I can read my handwriting. When the wind blew, Arya thought she could hear the long trailing branches whispering, "Please, please, please." The little hairs on the back of her neck rose, and she almost ran from the gravesite.
Yeah,
this
I
is
cut out the woman in the please.
Yeah. This is
that's a good point.
They bury her, and then with the breeze and the branches and all that stuff, I think that's Arya hearing God speak.
Yep, that makes sense.
And if she can hear God speak like that, is the as fierce as a Wolverine, see with your eyes, all the Sirio Pharrell sayings that they don't say that she says to herself, could those be God speak from beyond the grave, somebody helping her, and her
Yeah,
actually being able to hear the
yeah,
God speak of Serial Pharrell?
yeah. It makes sense.
Sorry.
No, I like that interpretation. Lizzie says maybe at the Battle for Winterfell we will see something like that, or in the time leading up to it. So we're referring to this person who tricks the giants, and then yeah, yeah, and then find some. So maybe somebody. I guess the one thing that's sort of like that is Theon, right? So Theon sort of tricks them and gets away, and then
Mhm.
is immediately captured.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not by the others, obviously, but maybe that's sort of an echo of this concept, and maybe we will see it with literally with the others at some point.
Yeah, well, could giants actually be Littlefinger? With
Yeah,
the
sure.
yeah, I mean, with that was it the slaps a giant in the house full of snow or something like
Well,
that?
and this was sort of the other way around with regard to Theon, right? Is that because isn't the giants the sigil of like
Umber, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so maybe it's sort in some ways it's sort of backwards, right?
yeah.
Been bringing men to the wall for close on 30 years, froth shone on Yorn's lips like bubbles of blood. All that time, I only lost 3. Old man died of a fever, city boy got snake bit taking a shit, and one fool tried to kill me in my sleep and got a red smile for his trouble. He drew the dirk across his throat to show her. 3 in 30 years, he spat out the old sour leaf. A ship now, might have been wiser. No chance of finding more men on the way, but still, clever man, he'd go by ship. But me, 30 years I've been taking this King's Road. He sheathed his dirk. Go to sleep, boy. Hear me? She did try, yet as she lay under her thin blanket, she could hear the wolves howling, and another sound, fainter, no more than a whisper on the wind, that might have been screams. There's a
Okay.
whole lot of red smile symbolism here, and this
Mhm.
chapter is filled with symbols and clues, some of which I'm not sure what to make of, as we've somewhat discussed.
Right. Also, you got that the whispers on the wind could still be more reference to
Yeah,
Godspeed, which will
right.
be set several times in this one chapter that there's a hint, if you read it that way, that she is hearing Godspeed.
Yep. Um, Up next, we have Davos and the Burning of the Gods. I think that's quite a bit longer chapter than this one is. The one of the things I wanted to say a few weeks ago. Uh, um, hey, what's it? In the whole Sansa mounted the head of a giant at Winterfell. Yep, yep. Pardon me. So a few weeks ago, um, David Lightbringer was doing Cat 7 um, from Game, and that's the trial by combat, I believe. And the one of the things he said that I thought was hilarious was there's all this symbolism of like of like a dragon being released when ice cracks and releases the others. I'm like, ice cracks and releases the others. Where would that be? Where would this dragon be trapped? I thought it was hilarious when he said that. I'm like, if only there was some sort of clue about some sort of dragon in these books.
Exactly.
So, in case anybody's listening to this who doesn't already know our a popular theory that I think we both like is that there's an ice dragon powering the wall, and that it will be somehow released, and that's what brings down the wall. I do think that the intention of Dan and Dave after the 4th season was basically to show um, the most dramatic images of the story, and to somehow hook them together without regard to laws of physics or characterization. The shirt counts as one, by the way, Lizzie says, so she's counting triple figurine references. But um, but anyway, my point being that I just thought it was is pretty funny because every single ice dragon reference is either it's you literally follow the ice dragon's south, specifically the ice dragon's tail when you're north of the wall to get to the wall. You follow the ice dragon's eye when you're south of the wall to get to the wall. The wind at the wall is multiple times compared to the breath of an ice dragon. The insides of the wall are referred to as the insides of a dragon. Actually, specifically the ice dragon, I think, like the belly of an ice dragon. And there's some sort of magic power of the wall that's allowed it to continue to grow and maintain itself for thousands of years, right? It seems to be somewhat sentient in that it seems to power the gate, right? The black gate, and there's multiple references to this concept of dragons waking from stone, and specifically at Dragonstone, this image of a building turning into a dragon. You've got in the World of Ice and Fire
on the stone the dragon being whatever stone. I mean, the nail in the coffin for me on it was that the wall in the shade looked like stone.
Yeah.
So that's George's way of playing around with words to try to throw you off to where you got to really look. Yeah, I mean that did it for me. I'm like, yeah, it's Ice Dragon.
And in the World of Ice and Fire, they have the concept that Winterfell is being powered by a dragon trapped beneath it, right? And so you've got all these little hints, and the fact that sometimes the ice dragon is hidden. Sometimes, when there's a cloudy day, they'll say the ice dragon is hidden. So you've got this concept that the ice dragon is hidden at the wall. The ice dragon is Jon's old friend. Is the one thing that arguably doesn't quite fit, other than that it might imply that Jon may actually ride the ice dragon. Anyway. So anyway, I really do like that theory, and I think it's pretty funny when I hear people talking about things like symbolism. And then,
I just read Lizzie's.
Yeah, I'm sure counts as one in terms of triple Targaryens.
Sorry,
so Lizzie might be my first real convert to after our discussion of triple Targaryens on
well, no, I had always gone back and forth between 2 babies or 3, because I didn't know if maybe there is actually still not that it's Fagon, but actually that Aegon was swapped, and you would only need 2 more babies to have 3 heads. And I was like, no, that doesn't work out because you don't have an older sister, the middle brother, and the younger sister.
Yeah, it wasn't until I always thought there was something weird about Mal, and I watched the Order of the Green Hand stuff. I'm like, that is interesting that she has all this symbolism that ties her to Ned and Ashara. One of us, yes. And then so I watched their video, and I was like, it's really interesting, but that doesn't make much sense to me. Right, the concept of Jon is Jesus and Asher is the Dione and so forth. And I'm like, I don't see why would he leave the sister? It didn't make much sense. And then and you do see, I definitely seen the ties between Aegon and Dany, and the implication that they were exactly the same age and tied together and so forth. So I was pretty set on them as twins, and then just wasn't thinking triplets until King I tried to mention that was like his favorite theory. It's like triplet Targaryens, and you'll never guess. And people were taking guesses. He's like, nope, it's these 3. And I'm like, that's right. and then I started going through the books and looking for it. And I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, I want to say, was it 3.5 years ago? Maybe it was second or third video. I had mentioned and as always, I always try to point out both sides of stuff. Um, there are those that think there was a baby born in the Tower of Joy. I said it could be twins. I said it could even be triplets. I mean, uh, but I wasn't dead set on it. I've been going back and forth for 3 years
Yeah, yeah,
until the triplet Targaryens, and then I was like, I'm
yeah.
sold. I'm completely
Yeah,
sold.
yeah. Once you go through it and look at the evidence, specifically all the symbolism that's just pointed at that, you're like,
There's no
like,
going back after that. I mean, it's there.
what do we say, Lizzie? Trust the symbolism. And I still think it's funny how people have decided that all the symbolism that points to Aegon as being, Rhaegar's heir, and they like dismiss it, and they act like it's all planted. Yeah, she said they act like it's all planted by Illyrio and Dorcas, and it's not, right. I mean, that like I don't think they arranged him to have a straw hat. I think George arranged him to have a straw hat. I don't think they arranged him to have, Duck versus Dunk. George arranged Duck and Dunk, right. I mean,
Yeah.
and they arranged him to give the exact speech of the young dragon, and you know it George decided to give the exact speech of the young dragon. So, and then you combine that with the dead mother of color blue, right?
Right.
And I think I know what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean, you got the Lamore is a Chardane. The
Nope,
baby swap done
nope,
with
nope, 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 nope.
what?
You said
Well,
you
I'm
said
saying that's
Lenore is the
part of it
Chardonnay.
too. What's that?
Well, you said Lenore is the Chardonnay.
Well, there are those that think that.
Yes, there are those that think that.
Yeah. But I was trying to figure out how
Lindsay says
Vagon got, huh?
Lindsay says R.I.P. to anyone young for their style. Yeah, yeah. I'm afraid Griff may not survive.
Yeah. That was the one when we did the House of the Undying on book club, and
Who
I've
do
been
you think
going
is
back.
Lenore? Who do you
Hmm.
think Lenore is? Who do you think Lenore is?
You talking to me or Lizzie?
You or either?
Um.
I got a couple theories, but
Yeah. I mean, it goes back and forth.
yeah, Lady Thistle says she actually does buy Lenore as a Shara. I just think there's too many clues pointing at Quaithe. I think the way that George likes to leave out specific colors observed, and then have the person who matches that color do the observing and leave out the color. We're specifically told um, that Ashara Dane has Danny's color of eyes, and we're also told that Quaithe has eyes wet and shiny, right? So she has unusual wet and shiny eyes observed by the person whose eye color is exactly the same as Ashara Dane. So that implies that she has Ashara Dane's laughing purple eyes. She's also we're also told that Ashara is the shadow, and then we're told that she's the shadowy secret, and Quaithe is the shadow, and Quaithe is implied to be beautiful. At a minimum, she has the most, a breast as perfect as a breast can be.
yeah.
So the implication is that Quaithe is beautiful. So she's beautiful. Ashara is shadow. Ashara is shadowy secret.
Yeah.
She has laughing eyes observed by the person with Ashara Dane's exact eye color. Late Thistle says Quaithe is a good one too. I'm keeping the window of my mind cracked on that one for sure.
Well, I sat there and went, all right, if Fagon, which I tend to agree is the middle triplet, how did he get to John Con from the Tower of Joy? There would have to have been a baby swap type situation going on. One baby went this way, one baby went that way.
I mean, he
Another
went with
baby.
Wallace though, right? So Wallace took Aegon.
Did he?
Yeah, because the half maester has to be Wallace.
Oh shit! Didn't even think about that, man.
I mean, I thought everybody agreed with that one because, I mean, we're specifically told that Wallace is a bastard son of a maester, right?
Right, but you would still need a milk mother for a newborn.
Right, and they have three of them. That's one, yeah. And so some people think that that's who she has to be, and so that would. But the thing is, Wyla went with John in theory, right?
Right.
Yes, I'll always keep an open mind for most things. See, triplet Targaryens to see the closed mind section. Yeah, yeah. So Wallace is the but like you said, somehow they had to have had wet nurses for like all four kids, right? That's what's somewhat strange. Like
Right.
how did they handle that?
Well, I mean, get Danny from Tower Joy potentially back down to Starfall, and then that's when a lot of the branching off went.
So it would seem like the wet nurse that would most impact the reader would be Wyla, but I assume that Wyla's the one that went with John to Winterfell.
Right.
But some people have speculated that she could be Hightower, who's supposedly up in the tower, but nobody knows that, right? Nobody's watching to see that she's up there.
I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, so those are the two that kind of somewhat jump out at me as well. There's only one wet nurse that we actually care about, and that's Wyla, and then but like I said, it doesn't really make that much sense because I would have thought, because we know she went back to we know she returned back to Starfall because Ned knew her and she was his wet nurse. So the theory would be that she would have gone with John and gone back, right?
Right. The other reason that got me on that was it was the fires to light and the one for love, and the cloth dragon on poles and the crowds cheering and all that stuff. I'm like, to light that fire, could it be a associated with the outbreak of grayscale in King's Landing type situation? This is her brother, but she has to basically scourge the city. I don't know. I forget where I'm going with it. My brain's kind of off today. But
that's all right.
I sat there and I had by the time it was all over and done with, even after the book club went off, did another like 4 more. I had probably 14 pages just on the House of the Undying, going back and forth on what meant what, and because I know it's way off topic. They give her the 3 lights, the 3 mounts, the 3 treasons. So that's 9, and then she asks for help, and then they say help her, show her, and then yeah, definitely legendary book club session. Well, they talk to me. They give her exactly 9 visions, and I was sitting there trying to figure out which vision went. I mean, I gave myself a completely massive headache, and then woke up the next morning with COVID. Which, by the way, Lady Thistle, I had completely 100% believed, since your husband had COVID, he breathed on your microphone, and that's how I caught it, because nobody else in my house has COVID. My mother-in-law was sick, but she went to the doctor today, got a regular cold. She doesn't have COVID. My kids don't have COVID. My wife don't have COVID. I am the only one in the house that has COVID, and I was the only one on that book club. So I still blame your husband. But it was an extremely awesome book club. It's probably one of my favorite book clubs as far as knowledge goes. But yeah, sorry, I rambled.
That's all right. I had to mute anyway since they were barking so much.
They heard my voice. That's what it was.
Computer virus is worse too.
Nerd.
What do you do?
That's all right.
All
If I
right.
still have this come Friday book club, I'm giving it to somebody else.
Oh my!
They
My
say I
spoiled
can.
brat is whining at me here.
Yeah, they say I can unquarantine on the 17th. So I don't know what day that is, but being quarantined in the house of 7 is extremely difficult. Nose goes.
That was indeed legendary. The 17th. So it is the 15th, right? So it's just a couple days, right?
Yeah. But they say 5 days quarantine now, but I don't know if that's after all your symptoms are gone, then you count 5 days, or if it's just 5 days
Yeah,
from.
probably.
I
That's a
don't
good
know.
question.
They've
Yeah,
changed
that's
so
a good
much.
question. Yeah, that's
But
a good question. The hmm. um, so next week I can probably do Monday and Wednesday, but probably not Friday. I think I have a follow up after my surgery.
oh, surgery. You all
Looking
right?
forward to it. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll
Okay.
be able to see. I'll be able to see. That'll be nice.
Oh, that kind of not a problem. Well, you can always send me your notes, and I'll just do it without you.
Oh yeah, that goes great. Actually, I
Yeah, it
thought it
does.
did go
I
great
mean,
that one time you did.
yeah, it does.
I thought you did do great that time.
Yeah, it goes really well when I don't understand the word you're saying.
I thought it went pretty well.
Yeah,
I've
well,
only done
it's
that
not as
once,
good
but
as when you're reading your words.
yeah.
I was gonna say something else and I can't. Oh yeah. On the Godspeed, because that's the only thing I really got out of this chapter was pretty much the Godspeed. That acknowledgement, if it's true, of her hearing Godspeed on the wind. We don't. John doesn't do that, does he?
I'm not sure. Last year, but coming up against these, you do it for us. No, I think I've got a follow up appointment the next day. Is the problem? So,
But does that just speak to exactly how powerful Arya is, if it's true?
and they don't put you under for eye surgery. By the way, there's no. I mean, there's they give you eye drops that numb your eyes, but
Drink
you're
the eye
cautious
drop.
the whole you're cautious the whole time though. At least every time I've seen eye surgery. Um, so anyway, um, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. Apparently, if you have cataract lens, replacement lens, if you shine a flashlight into your eyeball, it'll like glitter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'll look like a sapphire.
Or wait,
On the God Speak, where you guys get deep into this idea. I like a whole episode called On the God Speak. You guys get deep into this idea. Yeah, it might be worth looking through and seeing if that's the case.
yeah,
Maybe he hears something when he's climbing the frost hangs. That would be the place I would be most likely to, I would think.
yeah, it's true.
So we have to look at that. The
Yeah,
I thought the most interesting thing on this was the story. So old man's story that I really didn't remember about the story old man told once about a man imprisoned in a dark castle by evil giants. He was very brave and smart, and he tricked the giants and escaped. But no sooner was he outside the castle than the others took him and drank his hot red blood. Now she knew
it
how he must have felt.
it
So
reminded
that
me
one,
of what is it? The Odyssey. Oh man,
yeah,
what is it?
yeah, Homer's
The
Odyssey, sure.
Yeah, the where he's
Odysseus,
trapped by the Cyclops and tricks him to
yeah,
get out. That's what it
yeah,
reminded me of.
yeah,
All right, so
yeah. And
I thought of
actually, every time I hear no one, it kind of reminds me of that too, right? Because isn't that pretty much what he says, or nobody? I think nobody is who he claims he is.
it.
I think Odysseus claims that he's nobody.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been that was high
So
school.
people like, who blinded you? He says nobody.
Also, you got
Yeah,
the trolls on the Hobbit with the Bilbo.
yeah. Think of how powerful Arya will be when she returns and reunites with Numeria and her wolf pack. she's already working and stayed connected with Amira.
From so far away. Oh,
Yep,
so,
yep.
uh,
And hopefully I'll
her-
be able to more easily read these things once my eye gets fixed.
well, you see me. I got bifocals, and I have to get here and go like this, get all the way up to the damn camera, because where I'm at right now, my regular lenses is blurry, so I have to sit there and do that.
I can't decide when I'm looking at things whether I want to like go far away and use my left eye or get really up close. So my cataract eye can see for like a few inches. I always have to decide when I'm looking at something. Do I want to try and go far away where it's going to be tiny and use my good eye, or do I want to try and get really close where it'll be big? Use my right eye?
People will think you're winking at them.
Yeah. I've definitely considered wearing an eye patch. It's pretty terrible. I'm desperate for the Winds prologue to be Arya killing Ilan Payne while working Nim. Then we can also get her recollection of it. I want it.
Oh, that would be freaking awesome because they're both in the Riverlands.
I kind of like the Spicer concept, the idea that Jane's mother will be the POV.
Yeah. Or the Maester, the Maester that delivers the baby.
I don't know that I actually buy this whole the even books are Maesters thing. I mean, Payne's not even a Maester. He had already decided he was leaving the Citadel. He never got a single.
It's Maester adjacent.
Yeah, I guess.
But the whole
yes, and a POV from him would be excellent. Who knows what he could tell us? Yeah, Ilan Payne, might have. You do wonder if people have let him see things that he shouldn't be allowed to see. They don't expect him to ever communicate them, and so if he might, kind of like we've talked before about how the concept of these jesters that pretend to be simple-minded and aren't, right? Like Moon Boy, right? Moon Boy he does these complex political jokes that have to be explained to people, and they claim he's a simpleton. I'm like, is he though?
Ilan Payne as a POV for that would be the greatest POV other than a couple in the book. That is freaking awesome.
Yep. Lizzie's like, look at Jamie. He picked him for that reason. Yeah, that's kind of the point, right? Is people are happy to have him know the secrets, whereas Wex is showing you that's not that great an idea, right? I mean, people can ask yes or no questions quite easily, and people can teach people how to read and write, and so it's the idea that this is a safe person for secrets is really questionable.
Well, I mean, he has shown no interest in learning anything other than sharpening his sword.
Yeah, I get that. I just wonder if it's going to turn out to be some sort of, if he's going to learn something that. Someone's calling me. Let's see what happens here.
I can still hear you.
Okay. I think it switched over to my phone though instead of my headset. Probably sounds better.
About the same, a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a slightly better microphone than this $28 wireless headset.
So, you're going to ACoK, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see what we're talking about on the panel?
Yeah, so I would think the cat's paw dagger would be another good one to discuss, and the ice dragon trapped in the wall, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, the girl Nettles, she got. I'm assuming they're hour-long panels, but she got two hour-long panels, so we'll definitely have plenty of time to. Was like I was telling Lizzie, it's supposed to be teams. I don't know how it's going to be, whether you're for a theory, against a theory, that type situation.
Yeah.
So you basically, like a regular debate in high school or college or whatever the hell you're doing, lawyer stuff, you have to prepare for both sides because
right. It'd be
even
kind
if
of
it's
funny
one you love,
it'd be kind of funny if you had to defend. Let's say initially you had to defend like R plus L equals J, and you did, right, and you said, George has already confirmed this and so forth, and then you turned around and you did the cat's paw dagger, and you're like, it's important to realize that George is writing deliberately ambiguous stories where multiple correct answers, and he's even illustrated that there are multiple correct answers with this whole Scarlett O'Hara thing. And you could like totally flip it after you've already made the argument for the other one, right?
yeah. Well, I told because Lizzie is like us. Her favorite theory is John Stark, and
Right.
we got to be prepared because you might have to actually go R plus L equals J instead.
Right.
But even if you get to do N plus A equals J, preparing for R plus L equals J, you get all of their arguments.
Right.
You know everything they're going to say.
Right.
So you already can counter punch in what you're saying. Well, the other side will tell you that this, and this, but this is how, and the hardest part is the most common one-sided theory is R plus L equals J. There's more people that believe.
They might not want to include it because they think it's that nobody wants to argue it, right?
Oh, I'd argue it all day long.
I know.
I know Lizzie would.
It, right?
Lizzie would bring a sword to that and just start whacking people.
Well, I would really like to explain to people this. If you didn't get that this is a deliberately ambiguous work, then maybe you need to go read Fire and Blood again, because it's a deliberately ambiguous work, right? And he's trying to tell you there are multiple correct answers, and that he specifically uses parentage as a difference between the it's just you've obviously you've heard all these arguments, but
anyway. Just take I don't know who asked me about it. It was something about the appendix, but just look at the appendix in the books. I think in the first book, you get
it tells you that Jon
Snow is Ned's bastard. It
tells you that Brendan is the crow, right? It says Brendan is the three-eyed crow in the appendix. It says that Jon is Ned's bastard in the appendix.
Isn't Alaris in there also? Later on in one of the later books, we're talking about old.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but wouldn't surprise me.
So there are several people, especially John, but there are several people that are in the appendix not given the correct answer.
Well, it specifically tells you that Joffrey is Trueborn in the appendix too, right?
Exactly. Joffrey, Tommen, and Myrcella. Yeah.
Lady Thistle says, deep down, I bet Jamie wants Ellen to find a way to tell people. Lizzie says, there's plenty of time to blow minds or get pelted with tomatoes. and she says she prefers psychological warfare over whacking people with swords.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there's the other one. Gorgeous.
I want to see your eyeballs.
They love you.
Yeah. Sammy is definitely the kissingest. Well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, my throat's killing me. Lizzie, Lady Thistle, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Can't wait to IsofireCon. Can't wait to get to Friday, because Davos chapter is like 3 times longer than the Arya chapter was. It's not a short chapter, so we have plenty of stuff for that one. To make it quick and short here, because my throat's gone. I have been Old New Dude. He has been
Richard York, Asher's Trueborn son.
We appreciate it. Y'all have a good day, and see y'all Friday. Bye.
Feel better.
Thank you.